Bite, a zombie apocalypse story. Part 22. Taking the fight. We started unloading materials into the flats. Well, everyone else did. I was having a chat with our new friend. "Where is she?" I slammed the man I only knew as Jones against the wall, my voice surprisingly calm, considering the situation. I don't know, man. I haven't seen her. Liar! My patience was starting to snap now. Fine, you want to lie? Come here. I knocked him to the floor. I shouted for Ty to come join me. Go get me the rope. Ty gave me a quizzical look. Why? Shut up. Just get me the rope. He ran off, the expression on my face showing him I was in no mood to be questioned. I turned back to Jones. Fine, now, we're going to play a game. I knelt down next to him, my eyes looking onto his. It's called Tell Me What I Want to Know Before You Get Eaten Alive. A couple of hours later, after everything was loaded off the truck, Bricks took a while. He didn't show up for his friends. So much for loyalty. We took Jones, tied his feet to the rope, and then the other end to a wardrobe. "Okay," I said, pushing him to the edge of the banister. "Last chance to tell me what I want to know." He looked at me with pure terror, but didn't answer. I shrugged my shoulders. Fine. I pushed him back over the banister. He fell to the ground, but stopped a few feet before the floor. He started to scream, but it was not the fall that scared him. It was what was at the bottom. Holding its arms up, reaching for him, an angry zombie, its shattered teeth gnashing at the prospect of fresh meat. "Changing your mind, dude?" I said, leaning over. "I'm pretty sure Larry down there would like a new friend." "I haven't seen the man, I swear. Please, pull him up." Toby, Ty and John pulled back on the rope, lifting him back up a few feet before dropping again. Jones screamed at the top of his lungs. Larry the zombie got even more excited. I headed down one flight of stairs and leaned over, being careful with my arm. So as he slowly spun around, he could look me in the eye. I started. Now, I'm starting to get bored of this game, and if you don't win before I get bored, you're gonna lose the game. And you don't want to lose the game, do you? Because all that's gonna happen, I'd cut you down, and then I'd go see if your friend feels a little bit more cooperative. "I haven't seen the man. Please, I'm sorry." Tears rolled down his cheek. "You're sorry? You threaten a little girl with a knife, attack a couple of girls, and you're sorry? Well, that makes me all warm and fuzzy inside. Here, let me cut you down." I picked up Toby's machete and leaned over to cut the rope. "Oh God, please stop. I don't know where she is." "Fine. Where are you hiding?" If I tell you where we are, they'll kill me." "If you don't tell me, Larry will kill you," I said, rubbing my forehead in frustration. "But with me, I'll give you a 10-minute head start." "Okay, look, they're at the court." I pulled the machete back and then tapped it against his chest. "The local court? Yeah, just please, let me go." How do I know you're not lying?" "Does it look like I'm lying?" I lifted the machete up. "Please, you said you'd let me go." "Well, that's what we call a lie." "No!" The voice took me by surprise. Sky came running down the broken stairs and threw herself around my leg. "Please, don't do it, don't hurt him." She looked up at me. My anger faded away. "Okay, don't worry, I won't hurt him. Go back upstairs. You promise?" "I promise." Sky walked off. I headed down to the ground floor, quickly dispatched Larry the zombie, and Toby and John lowered Jones down so he could look me in the eye, upside down. You're a very lucky man. Hold still. I hate to miss. I swung the machete and the rope broke. He fell the last 5 feet or so and landed head. Oh, sorry about that. We drove for 2 hours, me and Toby, until we were on a small country road in Marden. Houses here were separated by fields of nothing but just grass, so it was practically the arse end of nowhere. Me and the dead were far and few between. It would have been a good place to set up home for a while, if supplies were non-existent nearby, and none of us knew the area that well. We didn't fancy a lot of exploration in an unknown place. Better to stick to Old Town. Here looks good. I pointed for Toby to pull over. What's different about that bit of hedge and the last bit of hedge we just passed? I don't know, it looks greener, just pull over. We got out of the car and opened up the back. Jones and the other man were sitting in silence with blindfolds on. Okay, get out and pray to God you did not bleed on my car. We just got it. They reluctantly climbed out and I pulled off the shirts that we'd been using as makeshift blindfolds. Where the hell are we? Jones asked, slowly turning around, taking in his new surroundings. Marden, I said. Hold out your hands and don't try anything. Toby there would very much like to shoot you, and, well, I don't know if I can be bothered to stop him. But they both complied, and I cut the cable ties that bound them, while Toby stood guard with the shotgun. Now what? You going to kill us? No. We're free to go. But don't back. We might run into Larry too. So what? You dump us out here to die? No, that would be cruel. You have 2 choices. Hastings apparently had built a wall, the last we heard of. You could head that way, or head to London. That was the last evac centre we heard from before we heard nothing at all. Hastings is 30 miles away. Well, you better start walking then, hadn't you? And that evac centre is probably overrun. Oh no, I said, sounding bored. Really? Well, why don't you hop back in the car and we'll give you a lift? Jones looked shocked. Really? No, his stupidity stunned me. No, not really, you moron. If you follow us, we will reverse over you. Toby got back in the car. I reached into the front seat and pulled out a Hello Kitty backpack and threw it to the 2 men. That little girl you threatened, she insisted I give this to you. There's a map, a few bottles of water, a crowbar, a few sandwiches. She made them for you. Count yourself lucky. It's far more than you would have gotten from me. I got back in the car and we pulled away, leaving them. We got back and work on improving our defence had already started. Organised by Jack, we started bricking up all the downstairs and first floor doors and windows. Jack was now wheeled in metal to the front door. Me and John, after a crash course of bricklaying, started to build a 20-foot long corridor outside leading up to the main entrance and placed another metal coated door at the entrance and one halfway through between the first and the main entrance door. Jack welded and bolted more metal to form a roof for the corridor. At the first door was a swipe card lock that Jack had taken from the scrapyard. At the second was a webcam, so anyone arriving could be checked. After that, the main door was simply a bar through the door handles. It took 12 hours and we were working into the dark, but it's amazing how shambling corpses can speed you up. We collapsed, exhausted, upstairs, providing a massive hoarding attack before the concrete set. We should be safe. Sky made us sandwiches from the last of the frozen bread. They were pretty awful and only half defrosted, but we were so hungry we didn't care. The next morning we all slept 9, but even though we were safe, Jane's absence hung over us. Me and John picked up a few things and headed out the new corridor, which we set up, and hit the button and the door unlocked. I made sure to check I had my swipe card on me. It used to be a coffee loyalty card until Jack had rewritten it. We got in the car and proceeded to the court. As a defendable position, it was not a bad place to set up shop. Most of the doors had coded locks, plenty of toilets spread over 3 floors, plus a small ground floor reception area, but it reeked with age. "So, what's the plan?" John said, swerving to the left to clip a nearby monster. "Nice shot, and I haven't thought of one yet. We could just pull up and say hi and ask if we could have her back. Yeah, you do remember she tried to kill you, right? I've had a few whacks to the head lately." "Yeah, that explains a lot," said John, swiping another monster. "Well, I'll just pop back to the hospital and see if I can get an MRI. John grunted. We pulled up outside the court. No one was outside, but we could just about see into the reception area, and there were 2 guys on watch. Well, on watch, they were playing cards. "You think Jack's little trick will work?" "I think there's a good chance it could blow us to hell." "Well, what a jolly good day this will be," I said, as I stepped out of the car. We jogged to the entrance and knocked on the glass. The 2 guys jumped out of their skin and scrambled for their weapons. "What?" a tall, bald black man, who looked like he had steroids for breakfast, lunch and dinner and dessert, demanded. "Hey, we're your neighbours," I said, smiling brightly. "The question remains the same. What?" Well, I think you have a friend of ours. Could we have her back?" "There's a lot of people here, and I ain't looking through 'em all." "Oh, that's okay. If you let us in, we will look for you." "You ain't coming in." "Well, why don't you go get your boss? He'll want to speak to me." "Oh, really? Why's that?" Tell him I'm here to return his teeth. He left them on my driveway." The guard frowned. "Huh. He said you died, and you and Graham killed each other." "Well, not much stays dead these days. Go grab your boss. Choppity chop. Can't dilly-dally here all day." He whispered to his cohort, who ran off upstairs, and he continued to stare at me, waiting for his return. "So, how are you doing?" He didn't smile. After a couple of minutes waiting, his friend returned. "Boss says send them up." They opened the door and we entered. "Leave any weapons you might have here." "Boss don't like it that much." "Oh well, we wouldn't want to upset him now, would we?" Me and John didn't want to chance upsetting him before we found Jane. We placed everything we had into the tray. "You want to check my pockets?" John asked. Mr. Steroid grunted and waved us up the stairs. Another guard waited, leaving us forward to show us up. We headed up 2 flights of stairs and entered a former waiting room that had been transformed into a sleeping area. Numerous stains were on the grey carpet, and most of the furniture had been broken. "This way," he said. He showed us through the door, and we entered the actual courtroom. The seats were full of people shouting, yelling, cheering. A bottle was thrown in our direction that John had to duck. "Group." "Shut up!" The words came from the judge's seat. And there was Tooth, in a black judge's robe and wig. "Hey dude, long time no see. Can we have our friend back, please? I hate the idea of her sitting here and eating all your food, so why don't you let us take her off. Tooth grinned. "No, don't worry. We haven't been feeding her." I frowned, made my way to the front of the court. John followed. Beer was poured over us as we walked. John smacked one fan who got in his face. That settled them down a bit. "Okay then, Your Honour. Can we please have our friend back?" "Well, that depends." "On what?" "Your trial, of course." The crowd roared with approval. Mine and John's trial was about to begin. Next time, the trial of Tom and John.